and this is Garrett. We're with the Grit and Polish, and we are renovating our 107-year-old farmhouse kitchen.
And this is actually the third update in the kitchen renovation series. So if you haven't seen the other ones, check those out and then watch this one because it's full of action-packed news about everything we've been working on since the last one.
Sure, it sure shows what goes into a kitchen renovation though, and how many decisions and just kind of the process,
which is weird and long, and
I'm gonna call it making it up as we go. It's what we do. It's what we do in life. It's what we do in renovations. Like, really, it should be our slogan.
What's your favorite thing so far about the kitchen?
Okay, my favorite thing so far is everything.
You love how it's coming together?
I do. I love the marble countertops. Those are some of my very favorite. The brass hardware and the lighting. We're just getting to the point where we're looking at lighting. So that's fun.
This is one of the rejuvenation sconces that we'll be putting up above the windows. So these are going to go up here. We have 3 of them.
Yeah.
And
these are actually the ones we used at our 6-day kitchen reno, which was 2 years ago now. There's one of those in there, and I always loved it and thought it would be perfect for this space. I also love having a sink and faucet in the kitchen again. It's amazing.
That's handy.
And we talked about it in the last video, but the sink is so big and it's always such a shock to me. Every time I walk up to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so big. Because the last one was a lot smaller and higher. So it's been super fun. We also put in the dishwasher this week. So one of the things we were still debating on was what to do with the upper cabinetry. And my friend Ashley had this great idea to push the upper cabinets like close to the ceiling and then add shelves below. And we kind of chewed on that for a while. And what I didn't want it to do was look too modern. And then I came up with like, well, let's do a plate rack and kind of a cute little shelf beneath. So Garrett's got a big giant DIY on his hands with that one. We both do. I think we'll both build that.
So that's going to be basically right below this cabinet will be the plate rack.
And then it's going to come down, a little curve, and then there'll be a small shelf there for like glasses or spices or little things.
Yeah. So that's all custom build, take a lot of time to figure out how to do it kind of stuff. So this project is stretching out. At every point, I think the schedule gets a little bit farther and farther out.
It's true.
But one thing about the process is, for us anyway, is we figure out a lot of things as we go.
Yeah.
And so that's really what we've been doing. As we get to a certain stage, we are fitting different things in. We're putting the cabinets up, seeing how much space we have. What do we want to do with that space?
Yeah, let's talk about our process here because I think we work a little bit differently than
everybody else.
Everyone, yeah. And this is not saying that we're doing it the right way because I think whatever works for you is the right way. But what we have found, I think this is kitchen number like 8 or something.
Yeah.
What we have found is we like to have some of the major pieces kind of figured out, like, cabinetry, countertops, and anything that's long lead, we like to have figured out. But then we like to make the space kind of come together while we're in it, because as you're renovating, as you demo stuff, as you start to bring stuff in, you start to see kind of how the space is gonna flow and how the finishes look together, and so we change our minds a lot, and we just decide. So we've kind of realized we don't want to make the decisions until we kind of have to, and so that's kind of our method, is to really make it up as we go.
Yeah, and so this thing doesn't happen like in a schedule.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen super fast.
That's why you haven't seen a mood board with all the finishes, because honestly, we didn't know all of them until I think we're finally starting to come together. But honestly, until we're done, we might not know all of them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're still deciding where to place like a bar sink, like a second sink in the kitchen. We just figured that out.
Do we want it? Do we not? I had asked on Instagram about it, and so many people came back and said, like, do it, put it in. So I think we're gonna do that, not knowing if we're for sure gonna use it a lot or not, but either way, it is a pretty big kitchen, a pretty good space. So we're gonna have one kind of in our, I'm gonna call it kind of a butler's pantry area where our fridge is. We're gonna put a little smaller sink in there as well.
So awesome, it's coming together. I feel like we're finally at some of the last decisions, I think, as far as items, placement of things.
Don't let him fool you, though. That sounds like we're almost done, and we are so not. Honestly, we're kind of hoping to be done by Thanksgiving. That sounds like forever away, but originally we're hoping to be done by Labor Day, but I think we're hoping to be done with the kitchen area for the most part by Labor Day. But getting the pantry done and getting the laundry space done, that's gonna stretch on until likely Thanksgiving, which we're hosting this year.
So we have to have it done.
5 families. There's gonna be like 12, 13 kids here, so Thanksgiving's the deadline. But yeah, like Garrett said, I think a lot of the decisions are getting made finally, so that's been super fun. I think that's made the last couple of weeks really fun as we start to see everything come together.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to talk about were the floors, because we have gone back and forth on this for ever since we started talking about doing the kitchen. The options we've considered are tile, some sort of natural tile like slate, some sort of big format. That's Garrett's choice. Another option is to refinish the existing floors. What we aren't entirely sure of is what it looks like in the pantry, because there's tile over top. And so that's option 2. And then option 3 would be to replace, either add on top or replace the existing floors with probably white oak. So we've gone
and
really
carry that throughout the whole main floor of the house, because they're all fur and in varying states of condition. So some of the fur on the main floor looks pretty good in the less trafficked areas maybe, and then some of the fur looks a little bit more worn. And I don't know that
we've pulled up carpets, so that, like, some of it's been hidden under carpets, and that's been okay. Other than when they added the carpets, they use those, like, what are they, the stretchers, and so they dig in and they make these little like divots in the floor. So don't do that. Don't do that when you lay over 100-year-old floors. Just don't do it. Anyway, it's okay. We've kind of patched them. So we've really debated about what to do with the floors. And as we've moved this renovation along, I've realized I kind of love the fur. It's super orangey and it's rough, but so I will say orange floors are not trendy right now. I'm sure they were at some point, but that really warm, rich wood is just not popular right now. And so I think I've let that kind of sway me and think, oh yeah, we need white oak and we need to make sure it kind of stays grayed out. But when we got all the white stuff, the white up in here and the marble, and then we added that warm brass hardware, all of a sudden, I kind of love the fur. And it's cool because it's original, and I kind of like it's not trendy.
Yeah, so, and also obviously it's the most cost effective.
Yeah, it's cost effective. It's original and historic.
The least amount of time and effort.
Yeah.
So those are great things too.
The thing is, if we keep the fur floors in here, we will keep them throughout. So that means we're gonna have to move, which we're gonna have to do something with the rest of the floors eventually, but we'll have to basically move out of the first floor. All the furniture.
That's not gonna be fun.
No, and we're gonna have to refinish them.
Not gonna be
yeah, which we're gonna have to do it with whatever we deal with the floors. We'll have to, get all the furniture out. But so that's one item that when we do a reveal of this kitchen, hopefully like at the very end of summer or early fall, you're not gonna see the floors done, because we're gonna wait, because it's gonna be kind of a whole house project. So that'll probably happen in a year, maybe 2, maybe 3. But I think we've made the decisions to keep the floor. So we feel good about that.
Yep, and it's all fur down in every room, and they're all the same height right now, so that's nice. We won't have any transition. We'll just have to kind of patch in with some fur, and it'll look good.
Yeah. And so throughout this house, there are 2 wood tones. There's fur, like all the this house was built in 1912, so 107-year-old fur on the floor. It's all, do you think there's a stain? I think it's natural and it's just warmed up. Like when you just seal fur over time, it just gets darker and warms up to kind of more orange. And then on the walls, that's all fur too, but it's been stained dark. So there's 2 tones of wood throughout, and we are trying to keep those in here as well. So we're gonna bring in the dark with a walnut butcher black, which we just picked up last week.
Awesome, it's really cool.
Gorgeous, yeah. And it's, so walnut looks a little bit grayer when you get it, a little bit lighter, but once you put the finish on it, it's like, black as night. So, well, not quite, but it's nice and dark.
And it'll be a good tie-in with
Yeah.
the dark stained fur from the rest of the house.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll have like the floors will be continuous and they'll be kind of that orangey, and then we'll bring in a couple elements of that dark wood that's in the rest of the house. So yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna look really cool. Another issue that we have had in this kitchen since the get-go are the windows. They, mostly all original windows in this house. Someone's replaced the glass itself, but I think the wood part of the windows are all original, would you say?
Yeah, for sure, like the window framing and the windows.
Except in the kitchen. So there are vinyl windows in the kitchen, and they're the only vinyl windows in the whole house. And basically since we moved in, we've wanted to do something with them, but
they're also functional.
they function just fine.
And
They have a couple, there's 2 that
Double
open.
pane, so they're relatively energy efficient.
There's screens on them, you can, they're actually, a lot of the windows have been screwed shut. So I would say all but like 5 windows in the whole house don't open. So the kitchen's open, our bedroom's open, but yeah. So we've decided not to do anything with them. Someday we might replace them in kind when these actually wear out with hopefully wood windows. But one issue I've always had with the windows in here is that, not just their vinyl, but that they stop like, is that 3 feet shy of the ceiling?
Yeah.
Like so the ceilings in this back of house are raised up about a ½ foot from the rest of the house. So they're 10 foot in here, and then the windows stop around 7 or so. And so there's just this kind of expansive wall above it that's always bothered me. And so what we decided to do to kind of bridge that space was to add sconces. And they're the rejuvenation, they're brass and glass, and they're really beautiful. And Garrett held them up there for me. We're doing the wiring this week, and I think it really solved that issue, that extra wall space.
Yeah, so some key stuff that we've been working on is rough-in electrical. We're getting the outlets positioned where we want them. We're getting, we didn't have to really do too much on the plumbing side, but getting things to the point where we can start putting the planking all the way around.
Yeah.
And so that's making sure that our framing's right. We have to frame in a new doorway to the laundry space and those kinds of things. So we're right at the tail end of that. So now so I guess let me back up a little bit. We have to actually get our skylights. So that will be the last major piece of demo and framing and construction that we have to do.
And that's good. We really wanted this space to feel like a sunroom, so that's as light and bright as possible. So adding those skylights I think is key. It's north. This is a north exposure, so we don't get a ton of direct light, except at the very height of summer. So it's going to be nice to add that, just kind of ambient sunlight throughout the day.
Yeah, so I'm super excited to get those skylights in because it's gonna really transform this room into one that's already good, but I just feel like that natural light that those bring in is gonna put this room over the top.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Cathy still has not picked out the final lighting for over the island, so that is still an outstanding decision that
I feel like that'll be outstanding for a couple more months. That'll probably be the very last thing.
Everything's set, and then
we'll probably have to rough in from, put a couple boxes up there, and then I'll have Garrett hold some fixtures up for me. Oh, the other thing. So one other thing we haven't decided on is exactly what our hood vent's gonna look like. We've still been, I think it was just this week that we kind of finally decided what our cabinetry is gonna look like. So stay tuned for the hood vent. I still don't know.
Yeah, the hood vent design is still outstanding too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and the other, one other big purchase we haven't made yet is a second oven. We kind of talked about how we wanted that. And Garrett just kind of found a product that is a microwave, proofing oven, cooking oven, a convection oven.
all combo. It's like 5 in 1.
Yeah, they say it's
like
5 in
a
1.
super combo unit that, we don't have a ton of space in here to put wall ovens and things like that. So we were been debating where to put the microwave and where we should try to
Can we fit, another oven? Yeah.
which would be super handy. But this one unit has all of those functionalities in it, so I think we can make that work. So we're gonna try to pursue that.
Yeah. We got lots to do. For every couple days of progress, I realize
How much more
how
there
much
is
more
to
we
do.
have to do. Yeah, it feels like, we're right there, but no, we are months and months away. We have done kitchens fast. We did the porch house in, wasn't it 14 days? The 6-day kitchen was 7 days, but this is gonna be like a 6-month kitchen.
Yep.
Yeah. But I will say it's going to be our best, and it's going to be the one I like the most. And I think taking our time and deciding on these things as we go might be a little bit slower, but I think it's going to make a better overall product in the end, and one I'm a lot more excited about.